Dragon's Dogma 2 just came out, and it's already hit with a good level of controversy. The two big points that people are running into right now are performance issues with the game, as well as the microtransaction store and their issues with it. In this video today, I want to clear up both of those and help you decide, are those real issues that are either barring you from playing the game, or ones that you can go, okay, it's fine with me, I'll go ahead and purchase. But really, it's going to be up to you and what you look for in a game. If this is your first time on my channel, the way I do things is by upfronting the knowledge of my videos so you can decide if it's the right one for you. So the gist and basically what I'm going to get into in the entire video is A, there are definite performance issues. I have a 4090 graphics card, a pretty top-end processor, and the game is very processor driven, and that's where your bottleneck resides. And it's really kind of based off of the amount of people on the screen, a lot of NPCs. So when you're in the open world, which you'll be doing the majority of the game, it is going to be pretty much fine for your frames per second. As soon as you go into any kind of city, town, or village, it is definitely going to tank your frames per second. For example, I hang out anywhere from 90 to 100 frames per second in the open world, and then I drop all the way down to like 30 to 60, depending upon what's in the scene in the towns, cities, and villages. So that's a big thing to know. I have a whole video on how you can possibly improve your FPS, increasing the priority in the task manager, all sorts of things. People have even said just outright killing NPCs increases your performance, all sorts of ways you can try to get around it. Capcom has said that they are working on a patch for the last week to hopefully help that. And this goes into a bigger problem I'll talk about later in the video. But honestly, I think it's something that can be managed. It will be frustrating. If you're on console, I've heard just so many conflicting reports of it being really good on Xbox and really good on PlayStation and not so good on either one. So it's just going to seems to be your mileage may vary. I don't think there's anything wrong with just simply waiting a couple days for a major patch to come out to fix this. Now, as far as the microtransaction store, it's really not an issue. Everything that's on the microtransaction store is not player power driven in the sense that it's a requirement. There's no battle pass. There's nothing that gates you from content. What I've seen a lot of people say is that you need to buy something on the on the microtransaction store to A, edit your character, or B, get an additional character slot. Both of those things are not 100% true. A, no additional character slot. You cannot get additional character slots in this game, period, which is its own point of contention. You have to either delete your save to restart the game, or just simply redo things however you can within your existing save. You cannot, there's no second saves. But character editing, it costs $2 on the microtransaction store. You can just simply play the game for an hour or two and get 500 rift crystals and just do it within the game. Everything you buy in the microtransaction store is stuff that you're just going to get within the game. I have 12 hours played right now, and I have everything in the microtransaction store already. So the microtransaction store is just a way to kind of cheat and cut a corner. So it is what it is. I don't like it. It's unfortunately part of the shitty world that we live in when it comes to the gaming industry and microtransactions. But it's definitely not something that I'm looking at going, this is trying to cash in on FOMO, fear of missing out, and it's predatory. Now, it's just a way to cut a corner if you want to do it. So that's my hard line on the two things that are big right now with Dragon's Dogma 2. You can jump ahead to any part of the video that interests you the most using the chapters in both the timeline and the description. And if you want to head on out, that's all I'm going to cover here today. I'm just going to kind of go into a deeper dive on it. Please don't forget to like, comment, and or subscribe. Each one of those things does help impact the channel quite a bit. But let's get started here on the big controversy surrounding Dragon's Dogma 2. So I want to start with the microtransaction store and discuss that first. So let's go through what is here. And mainly it's rift crystals. It's getting rift crystals in some sort of package and stuff like that. Points to spend beyond the rift, blah, blah, blah. At maxing out at $5 all the way down to $1. And wake stones from $1, whatever the hell. This is all, you've got all these right here. And you've got your portal crystals, and you've got more of these. You've got your character editor, your escape from goal, whatever. These things over here, and these things over here. This is free. None of this matters. It's all stuff you get within the game. The Explorer's camping kit, you're riddled with camping kits in the game. If you bought the deluxe version, you came with a camping kit. And a lot of these other things, I've got one of these. I don't think I have one of these, but I can get one. I haven't gotten one of these yet. I will show you how to buy one of these. And the rest of this is all just stuff you find in the game. You get 3 wakestone shards. It makes 1 wakestone. And that's how you resurrect any NPC or any of the pawns that are with you that have died that are not your oh wait, no. You can just resurrect those with your B ability. You resurrect the NPCs that die in the game world using wake stones, or you can resurrect yourself using a wake stone. All this, it's garbaggio. You play the game, it just comes. You don't need to do any of this. And let me just jump into the game now to just show you this stuff. So as soon as you get into the capital city, or the first city, the big major city, you go up to this dude who's got a page boy haircut, and you press buy, and here's all the Rift Essence that you could buy through microtransactions. Here's the Art of Metamorphosis that you could buy through microtransactions. Now, he seems to only have 2, and I don't know if there's a restock of this character at any given time after certain intervals, but there's multiple versions of these characters throughout the game. So if you need to really reset your character that many times, sure, that is what it is, but I have 11 hours played in the game, as of the recording of this video. I have 663 RC, and I've used some of that RC to summon up pawns. I didn't know it was used for this. So it's way, way more than achievable to get all these things. And even further, yes. Go to items menu. Here's some of the items. This is in that microtransaction menu. I think the fairy stones aren't, but you use them at port crystals. So a lot of these items you just get within the game. My companion here has my mundane camping kit. Yeah, sure, there's different camping kits and they do different things, but the weakest camping kit's going to be just fine. Like, you're going to find a good one throughout the game, so no reason to cut that corner. So again, my point remains, everything from that microtransaction menu already exists in the game. It's easy to get through just playing the game naturally. If you have 20 hours in the game, you probably have well beyond all the stuff that microtransaction menu offers you anyway. So I agree, like I said before, I do not like microtransactions. It is a part of the shitty reality of the video game industry, but at least this is a microtransaction store you can completely skip and not feel like you're missing out on anything. Imagine if that thing was just filled to the brim with cool cosmetics. You're like, oh, well, what's $3? And that's when it becomes a snowball, right? Don't even look at the microtransaction menu. Just play the game how you want to play it. So here we have just the frame rate of the game itself. Me just playing in a open portion of the world, which you're pretty much going to be encountering the majority of the time you play. And I've gone ahead and put up my GeForce overlay in the upper left-hand corner. My frames are taking a hit right now because I'm recording and my OBS is up on my other screen and that's mimicking what I'm showing. So I would assume that you probably look at a 10 to 20 FPS bump on your... Okay, all right, Leon, why don't you calm down? I'm in the middle of an important YouTube video, penis. But your FPS will probably be a little bit higher if you're playing on PC. I'm not sure what it'll be like on console. The biggest thing you can see, though, is that 40% CPU utilization. That's where a lot of the issues really come in here. That is what's really tanking your frames per second, your entire playthrough of the game, because if you don't have a particularly good processor with a lot of threads and a lot of cores, then things are going to tank. Even if you turn your resolution down and do all sorts of things GPU wise, it's still not going to have a huge effect on your FPS. You'll probably gain another 10 or 20, but it might not be enough to really make a big difference. So I'm going to jump ahead more into some combat so you can see how that looks, and I'm going to show you what it's like when I walk into that city and how it's going to slow things down. So we're going to come up to a little combat here, and I'm probably going to die right now because my health is super low because I died 2 or 3 times earlier to a Minotaur. But we'll see right now. I mean, this is a pretty beautiful scene, and we're not sluggish. We're still at like 80 some odd FPS. I just poked really hard. You just drop the old 1, 2, 3 prison shank, drop it and walk. Oh my god. Tiger, no! I'm gonna die doing this, aren't I? Yep. Right on camera, too. Oof. Stab him with your trash knife. Oh. Take a look at this awesome performance video. I'm going to leap myself off an edge. So you can see right there, frames per second held up pretty strong. We were in 70 plus frames with me recording this video right now with OBS on the other screen. Let's jump into town though. I'm gonna walk through the town so you can see, you can watch the FPS tank. The night has fallen upon the town, and I cannot encourage you enough to stay inside or be safe when it's nighttime. It's rough. So we were at 80 frames per second when I started ranting like an idiot, and we're dropping pretty steadily to 70. And as we get into more and more people around, I'm gonna go lower and lower to 60. And it's manageable. I won't lie. It's not beautiful, but it's definitely manageable. We were at 50 a little bit ago, and you can see that it's really dropping here. Gets more and more choppy. I gotta see where we're going here. Yeah, left. Oh, cool. That's how you go through the menus 5 times. Go left here. Now I'm gonna get to a place where there's way more NPCs. You can see now we're in the 40 frames per second.
Was once a beast.
And this is port crystals. This is part of the thing that you can buy. Use fairy stones to use them.
Indeed. Though it is not widely known.
So it's definitely low, right? Like I'm in 40, 50 frames per second. This is manageable. I mean, this is nighttime too, so there's a lot of shadows going on here. A lot of light rays being cast by these torches and whatnot. I know there's a specific word for them, brashers. And it's not amazing. Definitely not the crispy smooth butter that it was outside in the real world, but it's manageable for my graphics card. And this is what I mean by your mileage may vary. Some people, I know that their game just outright crashes when they come to a capital. And I want to be completely honest with you about that. So in my pursuit of transparency, the game crashed right there. And that's the first time the game has actually ever crashed for me. Oh no, I have one other occasion, but that's when I was alt-tabbing all over the place and trying a bunch of graphic stuff. But again, frames per second do drop, and it is your mileage may vary, and it might be good for you, it might be passable for you, or it might just be unbearable. So this is me showing you, this is what the performance issues are really like. Again, I have a real nice beastly machine, and it's still slugging about. So hopefully we get these solved. This is, to me, like I said, the true issue with the game. And here, I'll stop right here to wax poetic and have a diatribe. But to me, this really kind of comes down to game developers having an issue when it comes to developing their games on one platform and then porting it to another platform. That takes development time to port from one platform to another platform, it being PC to console or vice versa. And by doing so, any optimization errors that are present on the parent always get replicated down to the children. That's a life lesson. But what I notice is that time to bring it down to platform is always what kind of results in these really crappy optimization issues. It's something that's always kind of rushed out the door. And I think it just needs to be part of the conversation when it comes to development at the very beginning, rather than saying, yeah, we plan to do that. We plan to do that. We plan to do that. That is oftentimes either put out to another portion within the company or another company altogether to do that actual bringing two separate platforms or whatever it is. But I think it's indicative of a bigger problem in the industry of transferring stuff off of its parent and making it just get really messed up in optimization down the way. It's not something that's completely game breaking, right? Like, well, I guess, yeah, it could be depending on what you're playing on. But my point remains is that it's at least patchable. And that's, I think, the most important point of this is that, okay, this can be fixed with a patch and that will hopefully help. And maybe it'll be a set of game specific drivers from NVIDIA as well. So I look forward to hopefully seeing that next week, but hopefully we can see that happening here sooner rather than later. And at that, it brings our video here to a close. Like I said, you can have big issues with the microtransactions, and that's your prerogative. You can have big issues with the performance issues. And again, that's your prerogative. You paid money for this game. And if you don't like those things, you return it and you let your voice be heard. But it's worth knowing for people that are excited about this game and maybe got a little, not so excited once they saw the massive hit to Steam, the big review bombing, all these things. The game is definitely still serviceable. The microtransaction system is not this predatory, terrible one where it's asking you to buy a battle pass. It's just something you can ignore. Performance issues are definitely evident, and I think I've shown them off pretty well in this game that The parts of the game that you will be occupying the most seem to be just fine for the most part. The parts of the game that you do need to interact with, though, like the towns and everything, they're going to be annoying until this performance patch goes through. So you can kind of lower your graphic settings, whatever it is, to try to mitigate this as best you can. That should be the true thing that stops you from getting this game. And definitely look for platform-specific reviews to how you're getting the game. Are you playing it on Xbox Series X or S? Find reviews that corroborate how it is done on that platform. Because all the reviews I looked at up until the point of launch, all for the most part were pretty glowing reviews. There were a couple ones that mentioned poor performance, but I wasn't sure if that was a platform-related issue or a PC issue because it was on a PS5. And now that we all have the game, we can see exactly where these performance issues are kicking in for us. But like I said, if you have a problem with these things, boycott it by not taking part in it. Don't buy the microtransactions, refund the game if you don't want, don't buy the game if you don't want. But what's most important is that we just don't attack each other. Like I've been seeing on a lot of my streams and comment sections of players, gamers, friends attacking one another over their choices to play the game or to not play the game. It's entirely up to you. It's your money. It is your wallet. You choose what you want to do with it. Don't let anyone on the internet or otherwise, myself included, vilify or not verify, but what's the other word? Vindicate you for doing what you want. Do exactly what you want and make sure that you're enjoying the game or you're not. Whatever choice you've made for yourself. But as always, guys, thank you so much for watching here today. Have a good one and take care.